guys. Now I will be switching between the two cameras. Sometimes I've been using my new camera. Sometimes I've been using my iPhone. This one is an iPhone. Now I went to go and see I Lung for the second time last night, and those type of movies, I would call this more of a claustrophobic horror or a psychological horror, which I do like those style of movies that are more have to like think about it and it's really weird. I'm really a fan of those style. And I do believe this is actually based on a video game, which I have never ever seen. So I'm purely going the um on the movie itself, not the game that it's based on, which I think as probably might have hurt the movie just a tad. Plus, there's not been a lot of advertising for Iron Lung as well, um, which is I think gonna hurt it. Which I, I think heard it, but not as far as I'm aware of. This movie has gone gangbusters, and I believe it's all down to the power of its director, lead actor, editor, and executive producer, Mike. I think it's Mike Pooler or Michael Frashabath. I think it's how you pronounce his surname, who is a very well-known YouTuber who has actually reviewed and done a playthrough of the original source material. So he has a very big fan base, which I believe has helped the movie go gangbusters. Just the power of him alone. But I should have put a caveat in this. He has done a little bit of acting, and I do believe he will, after a conversation with one of my fellow viewers yesterday, is he does a lot of the editing himself of his own videos. Something you guys all know I do not edit. The fact that this movie only follows Mark, or Simon as the character is actually called, for the whole duration, makes you feel invested in Simon's plight a lot more than I think a lot of horror movies that I've seen in the past. So the way he placed the camera was so well done. Like you didn't feel that claustrophobia sinking through. You didn't feel that. But I think with the limitations of the set that he had to work with, him and his DP had to get very creative with where they placed the camera, the sound editing, the movement of the submarine. He had to get very creative to build the suspense and to build the tension throughout the movie, which I think worked well for the movie. It didn't harper it at all. And the little pieces of information that dropped either through his memories that we slightly see, through the conversations he has with the support staff on the top, you get an idea of Simon's background, and I thought that was well handled, very subtly. And the fact that you didn't really, the only real way you got to see outside the sub was through a camera, I thought worked very well. Like, they didn't overuse that gag of, he didn't overuse the gag of the camera constantly going to that wall and pressing the button, or going to the panel to try and navigate. The suspense was so well done, and I would probably call it very much a psychological horror, which I think would either people are gonna like or people are not gonna like. It's a very tricky genre to get, because it's really subjective, and people will either they miss the gore, miss those jump scares, which you do get a few jump scares here and there, but it's more in Simon's psyche that really deteriorates throughout the movie. And by the end, you are really rooting for Simon by the end. And I thought that was so well handled. I'm hoping that this gets been put on DVD, or gets some streaming to really allow people to discover this. I know the amount of money that's been made of the movie is gangbusters. This might be a good one for a good, maybe, horror week, if you want to try and get some scares into you that's non-traditional. Put this in. I looked at a JB Hi-Fi to see if I could actually purchase this after the theatrical screening. They haven't released it in Australia anyway. Hoping either on iTunes or JB Hi-Fi or something like that. This would be a really good movie to add to my already very small horror collection. Now, if you had a chance to see Iron Lung yet, please write down in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Is there any other one of these like smaller movies you would love me to see and put in my rotation? Please let me know. And I shall see you very, very soon. Ciao.